All right, listen, here we go, man. It's Mayhem Social Media Coalition, day 6, man, bringing you Proposition 19, halfway through the 12 propositions. Proposition 19, here we go on day 6. Proposition 19 is a deep one. It's about taxation, so obviously it's a lot of verbiage. Let me tell you how it's titled. Maybe that'll help me explain it to you. Proposition 19 is titled Property Tax Transfers, Exemptions, and Revenue for Wildland Agencies and Counties. That's the title of it. So what that's saying basically is saying that what it's saying, Proposition 19 is saying, as far as I can understand, as far as we can understand it here at Mayhem Social Media Coalition, Proposition 19 that about taxation is saying that it's saying that any properties bought at a set price, it can be transferred within anywhere. If a person buys a home, say if I buy a home, a primary home, for $250,000 and it's taxed at $250,000. If I then go buy another home anywhere in California, I could then transfer the taxation for that home onto that other home. But say if I bought the other home at $250,000, I could then still transfer the taxation I got from this home to that home. So with that being said, obviously you'll be taxed at a lower rate for the second home that's more expensive. It's also talking about the exemptions. That's the transfer part, the property tax transfer part. The exemption part is this. The exemption part is saying whenever you transfer a home, deed a home over, inherit a home over, it will also be taxed at that same rate that you bought it at and not at the fair market rate. If you remember, I talked on Proposition 15 about fair market rate and the original rate in which you bought it. There's a difference. Your original rate could be $250,000. When you go to sell it, your fair market value rate for that home or property could be much higher or lower. But with the Proposition 19 is saying that you will be taxed at the same rate in which you bought it, not at the market value rate. And then if you attempt to transfer it over, or when you deed it over, say a grandfather or grandparents to the grandchildren, parents to children, so forth and so on, it's saying that when you transfer it over, you would then, the people that you transfer it to will also be taxed at that same rate, or whoever's paying for the taxation of the transfer will also be taxed at the same rate in which it was bought at, and not at the rate of the fair market value at which it's traded at or inherited at. It's also saying that money should be allocated by the counties and the cities and the state to wildland firefighters, the wildland firefighters and agencies. And on top of that, it's also saying the counties should receive some of that money as well. These are allocated monies that are given through taxation. Every state taxes properties, and that's where they get most of their money from. The bulk of the state money that's given to agencies is coming from taxation. It comes from the taxes on property taxes and the like. That's what Proposition 19 is saying. Proposition 19 is talking about property tax exemptions and revenue produced for the wildland firefighter agencies and our wildland agencies and the counties. Now, let me tell you, if you say this, if you vote yes on Proposition 19, you are saying that there should continue to be taxation. There should be allowed to be a taxation at a rate where a person can buy a home in this area and then buy a more expensive home somewhere else in California, in all of California, and then they be able to tax at the same rate as they bought the home in a different area. It's basically about saving money. It's about people who buy homes and been able to save money. So if you say yes on Proposition 19, you're saying that people who buy homes should be able to have property tax and exemptions to that property tax, and there should also be money allocated by the state to wildland firefighters and the like. If you say no on Proposition 19, which I believe is a constitutional proposition, if you say no on Proposition 19, then you're saying there should be more exemptions put on people that are allowed to buy houses, basically. There should be exemptions put on it. People should be taxed at a fair market price. The money should be going to the state. And it's as simple as that. That's Proposition 19, as it is. Proposition 19. Yes, on Proposition 19, you're saying people should be given a little bit more leniency on taxation, transfers, and that wildland agencies and counties should be receiving money from the taxations, which they are anyway. If you say no on Proposition 16, you're saying that things should stay the way that excuse me. No on Proposition 19. You're saying things should stay the way they are, and people should only be allowed to transfer their. People are allowed to transfer the tax assessments regardless. But you're saying if people are not allowed to, that you say no on Proposition 19, you're saying people should be allowed to transfer their tax assessments only within the county. And if they're only allowed it within the county, and then even if they transfer it over or deed it over, it should be reassessed and taxed at that rate. The state agencies, the wildland agencies, they still allocate monies. It's just less money being allocated. Yes on 19, tax exemptions should be given to people who are able to afford homes, and wildland firefighters should get more money. No on 19, people should be taxed at the same rate. Things should stay the way they are, and money should be allocated to these agencies and counties just the same. That's Mayhem Social Media Coalition bringing you Proposition 19, Day 6. Black people, get out and vote. Invoke your human right. Make sure that you're represented properly.